Hello, love everyone. It's Leah here, and thank you for joining the Daily Examiner. Elliot is late as usual. No, I'm kidding. He had to go. He'll be back soon. So good to be here on the Daily Examiner. We have a lot to talk about, and I'd love to see your comments as to how you are, where you're actually watching from, and also just to have your feedback in regards to the discussions tonight, because there are a lot of things to talk about. And I don't know about you, but it's been very interesting to watch over the last while, just things that just keep layering over and over on top of more things to go, what? And your mind is blowing, and it's just like, oh no, something else. So, really good to be able to have this discussion tonight, and to bring Elliot into this conversation will be really good about now. But yeah, thank you for joining us tonight. And so, I'm going to introduce the late Islander to Talofa. Yes. So you are six
Hello,
minutes
Palava.
late. You are 6 minutes late.
Oh, yes. Hey, thank you, man. I appreciate that. And I do apologize to everyone. Sorry, team, for me with being able to being a little bit late there. Right, just meant to get back home and have a quick feed and got stuck in. So I do apologize. Look at it. Look, I'm looking a little bit rough here as well. Hey, so I do apologize for that, team. Gotta make myself presentable, and I'm making myself presentable while I'm on the show.
Oh well.
So,
It's not that we're paid for
Liao,
this
why am
anyway.
I?
Yeah,
Yeah, why
I'm
am
doing
I?
really well. I'm doing very well.
Oh,
Yes,
good.
even Mary forgives you.
Oh, thank you,
Because
Mary.
no, I'm doing really well. My health has really picked up quite a lot over the last year and a half, that I've sort of had to take a step back and start looking after my health, and just really grounding myself again, because there was just so much going on for so long. And to be
Mm.
able to just come back here and be part of this and be part of the team, yeah, it's great to be back. How about you, Elliot? What are you
Yeah,
doing up
good.
to?
No, I'm good. Oh, yeah, busy, busy, busy. Going around the country, doing a whole bunch of things going on, working hard, and also, of course, as you know, so sort of helping out with the team, the Hobson's Pledge team, and we're also been discussing with several areas of conservatism. So I've been linking up with people like Left Foot Media and Brenda Malone, and it's been really awesome. So whenever I go to these parts around the country, most of the time I've been in the North Island, but I have been in the South Island a few times lately. So I've been to Christchurch, Nelson, Blenheim. And just a big props to those who I've met in those
Yeah.
different countries, or not countries, those different cities, those regions. I promise not to utilize the Auckland joke too much. There's an Auckland joke that I tend to make, which is I say
Oh, you're going to say it anyway,
I'm gonna say it anyway. I said,
eh?
okay, in the North Island, this works. I get joke, but then I get mocked back, which is good. Which I always say, hey, don't worry, you're all part of Auckland. You're all part of Auckland. And so in the North Island, it's generally I get mocked back and laughed at, and that's good. That's all good. Once I cross the strait, once I cross the strait, it becomes a little bit different. And I think I said that joke in Dunedin last year, and
Yeah.
woo! Yeah, there was not much. It was more like just
So
cold and quiet. Yeah, I was like,
it's a
okay, my
tough
bad.
crowd.
Tough crowd, tough crowd. Speaking of which, Chris McDonald, Christo Fascists talking to themselves. Thank you, Chris. This and I think that's actually what we love to have on this channel is the idea of people who want to engage with free speech, want to attack us, and all that sort of stuff. That's fine because it's healthy to be able to engage in free speech and discourse. So I think that's really wonderful. So, right, you put up Stephen's one there before. Greetings, God, blessings from Rotorua. Excellent. Oh, lovely, lovely. I was
Hey,
due to be in Rotorua today and tomorrow, but didn't go through, so all good. Sorry.
sorry, what is a Christofacious? What is that?
Christo-fascist. Christo-fascist is
Please let me know.
it's a left-wing term. As you know, the
Okay.
left-wing utilize a term such as Nazi and fascist to try to suppress speech in those who they do not like. So it doesn't matter what it is, but if you disagree with the left, they'll call you something along the lines of Nazi, literally Hitler, fascist, anything like that. The
Oh,
idea is to just make you not
okay.
talk. Yeah, so that's what that is. It doesn't actually mean anything factual. It's more
Mm-hmm.
that it's a left wing element. Of course, as I think we know, fascism itself is very strongly to the left, at least at Nazism. Nazism was a left wing ideology. The National Socialists, where they engaged in very heavy regulation and close relationship between government and big business, shutting down of free speech, engaging in militaristic styles of authoritarianism. Very much like one of the previous governments that we had recently.
I was just
Uh-huh.
thinking, so some example was at Posey Parker when I was escorted out by the police and all the crowd the left crowd, were yelling, Nazi, go home. And I was like, dude, I'm brown, okay? Let's just start there first. I'm brown and you're calling out Nazis. There's about 120 of them,
Yeah.
because they didn't agree with, the person I was supporting there at the time. And so
Well,
yeah,
carry on. Sorry.
yeah. And so, being called a Nazi, did that justify the way they treated me? Does that justify when you actually label somebody? Does that justify you treating somebody like that?
Hmm. Yep,
And
you're
who are the
absolutely right.
bullies
And
in the
it's of course, absolutely that the left do tend to be engaged in very heavy bullying behaviour. In fact, it even goes further. It really is that suppressive brown shirt fascist style. It's
right?
quite fascinating. What they'll do is they'll shout Nazi, fascist, but many different video interviews that you see out on the street in America, they test the leftists as to what Nazism and fascism is. They cannot answer. They don't know what it means or is. They'll just scream out things such as Trump, conservatives, right-wing libertarians, anything that they're told that does not agree with them in whole. They are to call them fascist, Nazi, and the terms that they've got no idea about. One thing I do notice is that many of these people who engage in it, they've got no idea about World War II. They've got no idea about the Holocaust. They have no understanding of what it means to have a fascist ideology. So and you're right. And it's something that which is, because I've seen that video when you are helping out that young girl, and both of you are being absolutely stalked by those brutal leftists at the time. They were just trying to shout you down, yell at you, scream at you. They really were quite vicious, and it's something that we all have to be aware of. No matter how they're telling you, they're calling you a bad person, a fascist, a Nazi.
Yeah.
They themselves are guilty of that which they accuse others of, and so
Sure.
that's why we would definitely say, that kia kaha to all of you who are engaged in that. Don't
Yeah.
Honestly, don't take it personal, because it's not. They are just angry that you do not wholly believe in everything that they demand you to believe, because they don't really know what they believe either.
Sure. Yeah, that's interesting. I
Mm.
um I feel like has come from a whole generation of school where you become yes people. And so to be able to actually think for yourself and stand up for yourself is a very difficult thing. And it's not until you go through the experience yourself of going, hey, this doesn't make sense, that you start to go, what on earth is happening around me? And now I have to start saying no because it doesn't go with my convictions.
Yep.
That's if you have convictions.
Yeah, well said. Well said. Simon Anderson has just said this. Bang on, it does. The labeling with a dehumanizing term affords a justification to abuse victims' human rights. Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. Now, Simon Anderson, he comes on every now and then. I want to reiterate, Simon Anderson is the man. He is the man
Yeah.
who, when the Posey Parker, when that leftist lynch mob attacked those women, attacked the speakers, attacked the elderly, physically. And multiple cases, the New Zealand mainstream media, RNZ, Stuff, Spin-Off, Newsroom, they were all putting out narratives that said, oh, it was a aroha, it was a crowd of aroha.
It
There was
wasn't.
love.
I was there.
Yeah,
Like, actually,
that's right. And it was Simon Anderson's footage that went viral worldwide, and it
Thank you
showed
so
the
much,
truth. It absolutely showed the truth of what happened in that environment, and because of that, the media here were embarrassed, humiliated, and they were forced to admit that they didn't admit that they lied, but they admit that they were inaccurate. This is what it means that we are the media, that the citizen journalists, those of us who are giving up their time. Look, you and I, we are busy people. Just for our crew out there, our team, Liao and I, we are working. We're out there hustling to make money for our family. We do this for the love. We do this so that we can get that word out to you, and that's what's important. Simon the same way. And that's that's I think that's what it's about, So we are the media, and of course, what we're going to talk about right now is I think an ideal example of exactly that. All right, so of course actually for weeks now there have been some photos that have been flitting around, and it was Holy Hikatia, the ex-handle Holy Hikatia, who basically blew up the news, and that was then amplified along with Annie O'Brien, who's a very strong feminist person. She's a strong lady, and they had mentioned that a Greens MP had a very concerning account, and that some of the posts were really worrying. I think that's very valid to be called. No mainstream media knew about it, did not do anything, didn't call it, didn't question it, didn't even ask the question at all. They were abysmal. So what happened was the centrist ended up coming out with a report. Then the Daily Examiner, came out with a report. And after that, then you had other alternate independent media starting to come out more and more. So by the Monday, between last Friday and the Monday following, which was a couple of days ago, there was, I might be wrong here, but I believe there was us, the Daily Examiner, Centrist. I believe the Platform engaged in it eventually, but there was these other areas in there as well. So that's something which can be found on our website. Now, I want to show the photos. What do you think, Liao? Should we show some of the photos?
I'm really sick of the photos, but we need to see them because we can't keep turning a blind eye to what is, if it was just some average person, who got caught doing this is one thing, but someone who is representing people in Parliament, that is a whole new ballgame, and we have to see. And you can turn a blind eye to this, but it's, I've done a tiny bit of research on this, and I'm just like, oh, this makes me feel sick. But it has to be shown. And it has to be talked about. There's so many things that you pick your battles on. This is an important one because the thing is, before you show it, is that we have not just our children, but our grandchildren who will look at this. And I saw a video of a lesbian talking about the LGBTQ, and then the plus part is, maybe MAP, minor attracted persons. Which, if we continue down this line, our children and our grandchildren will see this as normal and look back and go, what did you guys do about it? What made you think that this was going to be something that we can turn a blind eye to? This is very, very important.
Yeah, what Liao's saying is absolutely right. You've got effectively what the far left are wanting to have happen, or those very much that real strong, really extreme LGBTQIP plus, the real fringe areas. What they're actually wanting is for, I'm trying to think of the wording that they've used, is that young people have their own sexual power, and so no matter how young you are, according to what they want, They want all children to be able to choose for themselves who to love, as in have sex with, to how to identify, and where sexuality would be their own consent. As soon as they're born, that's what they want. They want to be able to have the children be sexually empowered by birth. And what's strange is that it's only 5-10 years ago. If I said that, that would be absolute nonsense. That would be laughed off the planet, and it would be valid to be laughed off the planet. But now, 2025, we've seen that creep grow stronger and more. The slippery slope, which we always said was going to be a slippery slope. We always said it was going to end up in pedophilia, that pedophilia was the end game for that. Well, we're seeing that. Now, I know you and I and the rest of the crew that we belong to and political links that we have been sounding the horn loud and clear that this was always where it was going, so it's not a surprise. Now, it is important to note that no one has been found guilty, that what we're about to show could be absolutely innocent and it could just be that the optics look really, really bad. So we are not saying that the Greens MP is guilty of anything. We are just simply bringing up that there is enough, as Ed Wishart has said, there is enough smoke here to have a look to see if there's a fire. That it is right to at least ask questions. And it has to be noted, he has not fronted. He hasn't answered. He hasn't come onto any media scrum. He hasn't given out any emails or any letters in explaining, saying, yeah, I get it, it was bad. And we still know that 53 posts were scrubbed. Now, that's from his public account. We don't know what's going on in the non-public account. So I think it's really extraordinary. Anyway, yeah, as he said. So, this particular picture is of those who follow Bible Belt Bussy, which of course Bussy is a combination of boy and pussy, which refers to a more not derogatory, but a vulgar term for the vagina. And boy, obviously, that male element. So those are there. You've got Chloe Strawbeck, you've got Kahurangi Carter, and of course you've got very far leftist group Aotearoa Liberation. You've got Debbie Ngarewa Peka. Now this is the one who they're following his personal account. We're not talking about his political one, but this is his personal account. So at some point they've known very clearly as to it's likely what's on there. Yeah. Now, here we go. Here's one of the photos, of course, and I find this one here, I find concerning because of what he has written, what Mr. Boyd has written here. I'm sick of people asking if censored is a boy or a girl, as though A, those are the only options, and B, the answer will somehow make a difference. Censored is a tamariki mokopuna, a kid, a little one, a person, and a taonga. And sometimes, if you're lucky, they'll even respond to their name. We're not interested in the gender binary, so talk to us about cheese instead, mauri ora. Now, Liao, have you heard the latest as to what Mr. Boyd may or may not be, but what's been spoken of in media channels, independent media channels, in regards to what he's doing with his what apparently seems to be his child?
No, I haven't. I've read into other stuff around it, but not that in particular. Yep. Yeah.
No worries. So now this comes from Sean Plunkett, but Sean Plunkett is advising that he is actively transing his child currently. So the child is a boy, the child is a male, and it appears, according to Sean Plunkett, that there are attempts to make him into a girl, as to try to push him into the non-binary. The child is very young, and it's not in New Zealand. It's not technically illegal at this stage. So I think that is, again, really extraordinary.
Oh, please no.
Yeah, this one here is the more concerning one, and this one I don't really like putting up. Again, this could be really bad optics. So this is not what you guys do.
This is not how you kiss your son.
Right.
Well, you don't close
Right.
your eyes and you don't turn your head like we're kissing. I'm sorry. It just, even
Yep.
this object,
Mm.
it just, it looks so incredibly wrong. And we could be wrong. We could be. It could be something that was, I don't know, taken out of context, but
Mm.
it doesn't look like it to me. So I don't know. That's just my opinion. I've I have had three boys. That's not how I kiss them, but you know, it's just
Yep.
to me, it's something that we really need to address as as a community in New Zealand.
Well, you know, I've been wondering about the I've been wondering about all this time about where our media is in all of this. Because when you think about it, they have. Here's one. Green MP Benjamin Doyle facing death threats and abuse over social media account. Not asking the question,
No,
not confronting the real issue of what there is. The spin-off, Peter's attack on Doyle is vile, and the Greens should have seen it coming. Again, where spin-off? Where are you asking the question? Nothing.
yeah,
Here, News Talk ZB, the so-called right-wing media. It's not. And if you listen to the ZB talkback, you listen to the news article, the news reports, they are not conservative or right-wing. They are quite strongly to the left. They're not even factual, or they're not unbiased. They are left-wing biased. Green MP faces immense death threats and abuse. Now, according to Sean Plunkett, I was listening to him the other day, this immense, actually, there's only been one death threat given to police, and my understanding is that any other death threats were done before all these horrific pictures came out. Well, what I would regard as horrific anyway. Here, live, Greens say Peters is fanning the flames of hatred towards the rainbow community. Stuff. So what's going on? Why? Look, okay, that stuff. That's News Talk with ZB. Nothing about the photos, the optics. Asking the question that everyone wants to have answered. There's a spin-off. Again, going at Winston Peters, not asking the question. Green MP, Benjamin Doyle facing death threats. Again, in the corner of Benjamin Doyle, not asking the questions that New Zealanders want to know, which is, why did you scrub those pictures? Why have you got pictures which show your foot and then swipe to see an eggplant, which means penis? Why do you have the blue spiral on one of your bios, which is very clearly marked in multiple intelligence agencies across the world as being a symbol for paedophilia? Please answer. Answer this, Ben Doyle. I do not understand why you're not answering about it. We know you're crafting some sort of email to basically what I would regard as gaslight, say everyone's trying to attack you. But is everyone... You need to come to answer this.
yeah.
I
They're
think,
not going to. Elliot, so you don't just have media gaslighting the New Zealand public. You have Green Party leaders gaslighting us and saying, this is a part of, the rainbow community. This is how they speak. That's what Chloe said. This is how it is. But it's not how it is. We have to be angry enough to go, what are you doing about it? What is the answer to this? You have not answered the very simple questions we are asking you. Who is he? Why is he in the Green Party? Why did you not vet him? And why is he still in the Green Party? All of these questions you're asking, if this is not true, then prove it to us. Just do a simple thing where you go, actually, all of you guys got it wrong. Where is that? The silence from media is deafening, but you can see that they are absolutely gaslighting us, and I don't understand why they're still going. This
yep, you have it right.
is absolutely. Yep.
And I think we can all remember, I'm not sure if anyone's seen it or not, but one of the things that Chloe Schrobeck said, by quote, is when she was referring to Benjamin Doyle's the pictures and his bussy Bible Belt Bussy account. She stated, it has a context which is associated to the rainbow community, into a particular subset of the rainbow community of which Benjamin Doyle is a part of. Now let me repeat that again. Chloe Strawbeck stated on TV in response to these pictures coming out, and the context appears to be around the Bible Belt Bussy account. This is Chloe Strawbeck. It has a context which is associated to the rainbow community, into a particular subset of the rainbow community, of which Benjamin Doyle is a part of. And I think, I don't know, that makes me feel very concerned. I'll be honest, it makes me feel really worried. And to have someone who is being paid by the taxpayer thousands of dollars every single week, who is a spokesperson for early childhood, my understanding is, and to have that person there is just shocking to me. And yet this could be all innocent, and yet he has not come out and talked about it and confronted the issue. He hasn't done that. Why not? And why is media not asking the questions that New Zealanders want to know? I'm just shocked.
We have someone guest fighting us right now, but you know what? You can have your opinion on what you think. No, we're not pedophiles. We are not.
Well, so to be honest, we don't even need to answer that, because the fact is, we don't have accounts that have very concerning wordings that we didn't scrub our Instagram account of something like 52, 53 posts. We don't have photos where we are kissing children on the lips, slightly face turned, eyes closed. But if we did, then it is right for the media to come along knocking on our door saying, hey, why are you doing this? And we should have the right to then go, that is absolutely wrong. You're getting the optics all stuffed up. And if you want to know about the post that I scrubbed and all that, I'd confront it. But it is right that if Liao or I had such photos, then the media would be in their right. And I would demand, especially if I'm an MP, a Member of Parliament, taxpayer funded, representing New Zealand. I mean, I think it's quite shocking. I really do. So who's this? This one is Dina Ma. She's saying, why is it against the law to have a pic taken with your own child? As we've said many times, Dina, absolutely fine to have a picture with your own child. That's absolutely lovely. The issue that you can have is there's multiple issues down here. Is the scrubbing of the images, the style of imagery that there is, the words that are utilized, the emojis that are used alongside child type photos, like the eggplant for the penis, the blue swirl, they call it the cyclone emoji. So there are some really concerning things in there, and it's not one of these things, it's many of these different parts, and the fact that there is no response given is shocking to us. We're saying that this could be absolutely innocent, but tell us, talk to us. Benjamin is a paid, taxpayer-paid member of the Parliament of New Zealand. He is a public servant. We have a right to demand to know what's going on.
Yeah.
Put it here. Why does everything do with New Zealand public? We've answered that. Because the fact is he's taxpayer funded. The public pay him. He doesn't get money. He's not he is a public servant. All right. Why did it have to prove anything seriously, guys? Yeah, there is a sick minds out there, and that's what we need. We need to make sure that our parliament is not starting to come up in some shocking levels of sexualized behavior against children. Liao and myself and others who we connect with have fought for decades against the sexualized perversion of children. We have fought it at every step of the way, and we're more than happy to carry on. Get out of the gutter, you freaks! Absolutely, those freaks need to get out of the gutter. And if they're in Parliament, they need to get out of Parliament, Dina. You're right with that part for
I
sure.
think Dina's talking about.
What? Oh, I love it. No, this is great. This is great, Dina. What has it got to do with you? Well, because we are taxpayers, Dina. We want to make sure that we're paying our people to represent New Zealand values. New Zealand value is not pedophilia, not pederasty, it's not hebephilia. The ideas of New Zealand are family, God, of country, patriotism. And if someone is engaged in some horrific areas of Parliament, we need that person to not be there. We really do. Again, Dina, one of the wonderful things about this is that he's got every ability to go to the media and give his explanation. He has not done that. And the New Zealand mainstream media, RNZ, Stuff, New Zealand Herald, Spin-Off, all of these groups have not asked that question either. Dina again, no. Why do you want to see pics of his children? Dina, what we want to know, what we would like to know actually, is what are these pictures that he scrubbed? What are these pictures that he scrubbed? Because again, if they're really alarming, because what we have seen is quite concerning to us, so we need to know what's going on. All right. Dina, you are pedos. Yes, well, Dina, you are right. We need to be able to find out whether there are some pedos in Parliament, some pedos, and I from what I think you're saying is that there might be some pedophilia or some pedophiles in Parliament. Man, I really hope not, Leo. I'm sure you hope not, but it's quite shocking that if there are, they need to be dealt with harshly, need to be gone. I think that for myself, I'm not sure how Liao feels, but I believe that pedophiles are deserving of the death penalty. And I say that as a Christian, and I'm aware of that it's a very strong thing to say. I know that, but I tend to go back and forth. Liao, what about you? Do you think pedophiles deserve the death penalty?
You know, when we start to look at, if you take it right back to, even 10 years ago when we would be talking about the subject, there would be a huge uproar because we want to protect our children, and we want to protect our children and our children's children, and to have somebody who is in Parliament, guys, who is standing on behalf of the people of New Zealand, whether they're being elected or not, they are still there. So, like Elliot said, this whole issue is not that Instagram post was found. It is that, what do we do with it now? And I'm not just talking about media and the parties. What will New Zealand do about this?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Again, we're paying these people thousands of dollars every single year. These people are getting rich off the backs of you and I as hardworking people of New Zealand. So I don't begrudge them overly for the amount of money they get. I mean, they what's the starting rate? Something like 180, 190k. Then add on top of that, if they hold portfolios, and on top of that, they get GST. They can do a whole bunch of stuff. They get rich. Many of them will get rich off the taxpayer money. I don't begrudge them too much if they're doing a good job, but they've got to be able to represent the values that New Zealand has. I think it's really important. Aotearoa Truths, why don't you say his name? Oh, you mean Benjamin Boyd? We have been saying his name. We just sometimes will. Sorry, it's just a passage of communication. I do apologise for that. Valerie Hunt has said castration at the least. That's fair. That's fair. Because it is you know what? I know this is a little tangent. But Liao, in terms of punishment for pedophiles, what do you think? I think I agree with Valerie. I think castration might be valid, and if it was so, then I would say surgical castration as opposed to chemical castration. And I know that's quite brutal. I'm aware of that, but yeah, what do you think? What do you think they deserve?
Isn't that what they're trying to do to our children anyway?
Yeah. So
they actually say transing and puberty blockers and cutting off those parts. And we say that about a pedophile, and yet that is what is happening to our children. All of these puberty blockers, they'll never be able to reverse that. like, what is going on? We are okay for that when some countries have literally said no to the banned it, and we are pushing it here, and so did he.
Yep, well said. Yep, that's right. Whoa, oh, we've had a threat. We've had a threat here. Dina, that's actually really worrying. She's saying, I believe it's a she or he, not sure. But yes, for this host, castrate him. I think she means castrate. Dina, just hey, look, man, you need to ease down. Threatening people is really not good at all. And unfortunately, this is something that we do see from the left and the far left, where they want to seek to suppress and shut people up by threatening with violence, by threatening with anything and everything that they can do. So, just for our audience out there, this is something that we do see quite often, where they will attempt to intimidate, to suppress it, and to shut you down. And they will try to attack you in every single way that you can imagine. And believe me, they will attack you through your job, through your children. The left will attack you in every single way that they can do. Right, and this here is just a simple example of that. All right, so something just to be an interesting element of. Cheryl Cope from our YouTube, they're trying to normalize MAPS, minor attracted people, the slippery slope. Yeah, and that's exactly what Liao was referring to before about the whole MAPS element there. Liao, you did not answer though. What do you think is a fitting punishment for pedophiles, for people who engage in children in a real nasty way?
Yeah, I had to think about that one.
Fair enough.
I definitely think the punishment. Look at you. Okay, I can't. I know I'm skirting around this, but New Zealand having punishment for nothing. I got told earlier this week that this guy came along and stabbed these two people, and you know how long he got from a New Zealand.
Depends on where.
14 years.
Oh no. And what was that for? Sorry.
Both murders. He stabbed two people that he didn't know. Stabbed two people, allegedly.
14 years.
14 years. So.
And did they call that life?
That's life in New Zealand.
Yeah, of course they. Yeah, that's yeah. It's life, but it's not life. Yep, no, really sad. Just wanted to put this out there as well. Again, from Bible Belt Bussy, that he has been using his name here. He's been put it there as Bible Belt Bussy. This is someone who is funded by the New Zealand taxpayer, And let's not forget that I'm trying to think of where it was that I saw this, and I might begin to quote slightly wrong, but I'm pretty sure I'm trying to get this word for word. But he said, "You should be more worried about the contents of my mind than what's in my wardrobe." So he said, you should be more worried. And he said that there was an ominous tone to when he said that in Parliament. He said, you need to be more worried about what's in my mind than what's in my wardrobe. I don't know, for me anyway, he's telling us. I don't know. What does it seem like to you, Liao? I mean, these are some worrying as concerns around what he's saying, even.
Do you know that is actually something the left a lot. And I don't mean to refer. You understand when I say that, because they have to say what they're going to do. It's been like that for many years, and to actually voice that is very concerning. Now we know what we didn't know, and now we know. It's very important for us to start going, what else is there? I mean, you remember Grant Robinson, right? And
yes, right, the boy, the Thailand boy.
It's a Thailand boy. What did he get? He got a slap in the wrist, and now he's a vice chancellor.
Vice chancellor, yeah.
A vice chancellor at Otago University. So, how are we dealing with these things?
Oh, you know what? And as soon as you bring that up, I'm also remembering the Labour Minister for Education, David Benson Pope, back in the 90s. And David Benson Pope was very well known for when he was before he was Minister of Education, and I think he was a dean of a school or something, where he would tape the students' hands down on tables and put balls into their mouths and tape them in there. Really extraordinary stuff. He was also Ian Wishart had done a lot of research into this place and even connected him to a group called the Southern Clinks, or sadomasochistic group. And this is the Labour Minister for Education. Again, it's just absolutely shocking.
Yeah,
so
this one. Yeah.
Let's see, what have we got there? So Kushla Amos, many recent cases of sexual abuse within the ACT Party, churches like Destiny, along with many old boys within the conservative Christian ranks. But of course that is quietly avoided by you, isn't it, Elliot? Not a peep, hypocrite. Alrighty, so case of sexual abuse within the ACT Party. Yeah, so the ACT Party had Tim Jago. I believe I am allowed to say that name because the name suppression lapsed. And my understanding is that he was doing a lot of scumbag things. I don't know too much about it. I am not a libertarian, and so I think it's disgusting. Whatever, a sexual predator is a scumbag. Doesn't matter what ideology, whether they're Christian, teacher, within the left wing, within the right wing, whatever it might be. A predator is a predator, is a scumbag. Churches like Destiny, right, so there I think you're referring to the person who worked along with youth for a while. My understanding in that one, now I'm not a Destiny Church member, but my understanding is that he was a guy who sort of snuck along in the cracks and the crevices and again, plied his wares. You see, one of the thing interesting here is it tends to be that saying, Catholic Church full of pedophile priests, the attack from religious Christian groups. So they tend to aim towards Christianity. What's interesting is that study after study shows that the highest risk place is the education sector. So it's actually teachers, guidance counselors, support staff. Those are your main areas of predatory behavior in terms of sexual abuse in the OECD. Now, we need the education sector. We do not chuck out schools because you've got some scumbags within the education sector. In the same way, within Christian ranks, you do not chuck out the church because you've got scumbags who pretend to be Christian and are engaged in horrific areas of violence and predation. So it's always interesting, that one. But just to let your team know out there that if everyone comes to you saying, Christians are all a bunch of what pedophiles and all that sort of stuff, the number one risk is actually school, not church. Interestingly enough. Okay, so and then conservative Christian ranks. Oh, right. Wasn't that sort of what I was sort of saying about? One thing, however, I have to say is that if you're an atheist or if you're an agnostic, if you're an atheist, then you don't really have an ideological position by saying that it's wrong. You can say, well, I think it's wrong, but someone else might think it's right. So then you're sort of stuck. Whereas within the Christian environment, we have a particular book called the Bible, and the Bible is extremely clear that you are not to engage in that type of predatory behavior. So anyone who says that they're Christian but is engaging in horrific acts like that, they are breaching the Bible. So they cannot state that they are engaging in Christian behavior. But those who are on the left, whatever.
I have something to say. The thing is with the church, and I'm just going to bring it up because that's where I've seen it and I've watched it, is that the church is made up of broken people. And so with the church, it's like a hospital that people come to be healed. And just like a hospital, and I've seen this too, people can choose whether they want to be healed or not. So they can be in a hospital and choose not to take any of the medication or whatever it is that they're given. I know it's a bad example, but with the church, you can go there and be part of the church and not take in anything that has been spoken. The conviction of God on your life, you can choose to, take it and live your life like that, or you don't. And it's made up of broken people who are there to come together to help support each other in this regard. And that's why there's no perfect person in church. If you find a perfect church, you better not go to it. You'll wreck it.
Yeah,
That's what I've
absolutely.
always told.
So just that area for Kushla anyway. So if you want to do worry, then you should probably not send your children to any sort of education sector or any school or any university or any primary school or any kindergarten, because under the logic that she seems to be putting, that's what the statistics are. That's your most high predatory environment. So yeah, absolutely. So there we've got Madeline here. She's saying people are so desperate to bring up things that are already dealt to legally, only to defer the actual issue again playing victim. Difference with Ben is you have everyone actually trying to prove innocence when it's extremely clear they're in the wrong. At least there are people out there who expose wrongs regardless. Wrong is wrong.
Yeah.
Madeline, on point. On point. I mean, yeah, you said it really well. You're right. Because when we find someone within, if there's some church pedophile, like Dilworth, the priest who was found to be, who had abused people, the Christian community, called it out immediately. Disgusting, lock them up for years and years, horrific, strong. And yet here you've got some left wing. We've already given some areas of David Benson, Pope, the one that you brought up, and now we've got this really concern going on. And instead of asking the hard questions, Kushla, which I'm just thinking that you're on that side, why aren't you asking as to the quality of the non-response that we're getting? Is that he is not fronted up to this, and this needs to be confronted and dealt with. So, we need to know. Yet the left seem to just want to, oh, no, he's getting attacks. Oh, no, flaming hatred. Using and manipulating the LGB group, manipulating their name in order to try to use it as a shield against any type of criticism for someone who needs to stand up for themselves to speak, and especially since they are taxpayer funded. So utterly shocking. Yeah. Oh, look, Liao, there you go. Well put, Liao. There is no perfect person. Full stop. Oh, very nice. Very good. So yeah. So we've got that. Now I'm not sure I just want to give this one. I want to give out here is I actually want to put out a correction here for something that I made a mention of, or that I believed about a month ago. So I'm just going to put this up here. Now, this is the Tangata Tiriti checklist. Now, I thought that this was done by, or put out by the, I gotta get this one correct, the Midwifery Council, the Midwives Council of New Zealand. But I was incorrect. It was the other midwife group. So there's two groups of midwives to two groups of NGO types to midwife sections of New Zealand. And I think I said on one article that it was the Midwifery Council, but I was wrong. It was the other one. It's the other one that's in the little blue. So I just wanted to put out there that no, it was not the one that I said originally, that it was indeed the other group who had put it out. And that other, what was really awesome is the group who I asked the question for, they came back to me and they said, hey, kia ora, thank you so much for getting in touch. Yeah, we get confused with the other group a lot. We do apologize for that. I'm going to make sure that on my accounts that I put out there my correction, and it's something which is important. I don't want to be rolling around saying stuff which is inaccurate and I don't fix it. All right. So I just want to say thank you to that person who brought it to my attention. That's really good. Now, in terms of that, it looks like the other group there who was putting this out to the midwives, this is the checklist that's been put out there. The Tangata Tiriti checklist, which I find really shocking. I do. I find that really, really worrying. If you have a look there now, I'm not sure whether you'll be able to see it too well. You know what? I'm going to actually do something here. I'm going to come off that one because I want to. Yeah, I want to sort of bring this one up a little bit. But this is important. So that Tangata Tiriti Council it's really worrying as well. Let me come back here. I'm going to just do a little thingy, little jib on my screen just to sort of show you what's going on here. All right. Now, what you'll be seeing that there. What I want to just show you is, Oi.
That's good.
Okay. Oh, sorry. Oh, I don't have to see if I can cruise in there. There we go. Oh, that's better. Oi, oi, oi. I demonstrate knowledge and awareness of Te Tiriti o Waitangi. Yeah, nice. Okay, that's cool. And then that second one. I recognise Te Tiriti o Waitangi as a source of my rights as a non-Māori to call Aotearoa home. What? I recognise Te Tiriti o Waitangi as a source of my rights as a non-Māori to call Aotearoa home. What on earth are you talking about? Right. Then go down a bit further. I recognise my own privilege as someone who has benefited from violations of Te Tiriti o Waitangi. I think that's extraordinary. What are you talking about? I understand that my intergenerational privilege has created blind spots for my own entitlement and strive to limit my own entitlement. I mean, there are some shocking things on this article, this checklist. It really is. I am involved in projects and campaigns to support Te Tiriti o Waitangi, because don't forget what they want, what the author here wants you to believe in is the type of Te Tiriti o Waitangi that she believes in. She doesn't want to look at the history too much. She really doesn't. I can identify a tiriti or violation. As a non-Māori, I strive to not consume a hui with my own reckons. Again, that's extraordinary. And look at this one. Look at this one down here. I actively and vocally oppose the Treaty Principles Bill and any other disrespect toward the legal and political status of Te Tiriti o Waitangi. I recognise that Kawanatanga is a lesser level of authority than Rangatiratanga. Right. These things are becoming ridiculous. They really, really are. All right. They are becoming extremely racist, and the attempt to try to now bring tikanga, whatever that might mean, that tikanga into law and into how to punish people, I think is extraordinary, because the institutes who are accepting tikanga don't understand tikanga. They don't quite understand that tikanga can be within group, family, tribe, sub-tribe, or even house. Not even home, but house. They've got, and because they have a severe misunderstanding, or not even a non-understanding of what these words mean, they are just saying, we'll just, yep, it's good. And it's just shocking to see what's going on there. So, it is. Oh, Cheryl, I apologise, Cheryl, for yourself, for you, Cheryl. We're going to do something here. All right, we will do something for you. All right, don't you worry. Let's just get this up here. There you go. All right, there you go, Cheryl. How's that? Is that you can't see that, Cheryl, but right behind there is the beautiful site of Auckland City. But you can't see that, so that's fine. So just to let you know, team, one of our wonderful viewers is saying that the flag is making her a little bit sick, and that's valid. That's very fair, not a problem. All right. But Liao, so we're seeing more and more of these racism elements exposed. You've also got the Māori Party today, after that haka, which for me anyway seemed like a temper tantrum more than anything else. Because they weren't able to get their vote in, or they lost the vote within Parliament. So instead of going, oh well, that sucks, but okay, fine, they instead just started up with Hannah Clark, I believe her name is. She started up a haka, and then they ran out, and it really did seem like a temper tantrum, not like the haka of old of what I know them to be. And then they were brought up in Privileges Committee today, because it was a disgraceful interruption to be done, but they even wussied out of that. So the Māori Party, the issues there. What are your thoughts anyway about, I guess, the Greens and the Māori Party? What are your thoughts there going
on? I feel like there's more and more division happening, and more people don't have a say anymore. And it's slowly seeping in through everything, even in community development, where I work in the community, you have to be able to. I mean, you know that they have Te Reo now in America in one of the universities.
Yep,
Okay,
no,
so
absolutely.
where else in the world will we use that language? I mean, it's a beautiful language. Don't
It's a
get me
beautiful
wrong,
language,
but
beautiful
when
history.
it's forced on people and causes huge division, where do you go? Like, for our children, they're all born here. They may
Mm.
not be, I guess, tangata whenua, but they're born here. This is where they live.
What's tangata whenua, Leo? What is this tangata whenua
Is it the
you're
people
mentioning?
that is this the people that were here or the people that came here?
Yeah. See, now that's that argument, and I get into a little bit of trouble here because I believe that Maori, you can refer to Maori as the indigenous population. That's absolutely fine. I actually don't have a problem with that. I view indigenous people as those who were the first to officially settle here. And so for myself, whether or not there was a group of people along with Maori or not, Maori are the ones who it's reasonably accepted were the first group to at least settle here sustainably. But none of us. So I whakapapa back to Te Aotearoa Ngāti Raukawa. Not only that, I also have Tonga, Niue, and English blood. I just found out where my English blood comes from. It's Gloucestershire. 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 So that's actually where the Palangi part of myself comes from. But I respect all the parts of myself. But I know there's no such thing as a full blood Māori anymore, and that's not a negative. That's just it's just a idiosyncrasy of the human process, of the human development.
Yeah.
But I love the history. I love the language. I love the culture. I'm glad that we got colonization in here because we were. Unlike what the professors and lecturers will say, the fact is cannibalism was rife, absolutely rife. So Christianity was able to bring more cessation of cannibalism, to bring forgiveness to be a very real element. That the chiefs, many chiefs, also were very clever. They saw what bonuses they could get from it, which is the idea of peace. Peace. Just crazy stuff.
See, the problem is with Te Pati Maori and the Greens is that they can have a temper in Parliament, but what are they doing about it? So they, over the last, I don't know how many years, we have youth on top of a roof protesting and getting KFC as a reward. If you think about that and how much we have actually, even defund the police was one of their comments. This is what it's become. And where is what are the consequences to them doing that? What is it? What are they going to do in Parliament that is going to deal with that?
Yeah, well said, well said. Fibonacci sequence. Tikanga was introduced to first-year law students at Victoria University last year. Bit confusing for the students, I think. You're absolutely... Why? What's tik? This thing about tikanga is I laughed at first when I first heard it from one of my colleagues. I laughed my head off and I said, "Nah, that's stupid. It's not gonna. Come on, man." Because tikanga, all right. Tikanga is merely just the customs of a place. That's it. All right, it's got nothing. So I went to Tarawa, and then I was at Tarawa at a marae, and we left our shoes on, which for me was like, what? And then they were saying, no, tikanga here is you can leave your shoes on. Oh, what? Really? Tikanga over in Otaitahi or Christchurch was something else completely. I mean, so to have this weird tikanga thing in there as if it's some standardized format of how you are to engage is nonsense. It's nonsense. And what we all know is going to happen is you're going to have tikanga experts. And these tikanga experts are not going to be tikanga experts. They're just going to sound the part, look the part. It's going to be quite racist because those people who will pay for tikanga experts, they'll be, oh, what melanin do you have? Hey? Where can you track your bloodline? And then we're going to give you 120k just because you're a tikanga expert. Whatever. They don't
They
know.
use the same. Sorry, I was just going to ask you: is it the same of the whales singing to the?
Oh, you know what? Yeah, yeah.
It cost us
Which,
$4 million for.
yeah. For Cody
Was that
Dieback. Oh, you know what? That person would probably be labeled as such.
Yeah.
And don't forget, we're funding it. We're funding it. That's the other big thing, is that this will be on the money of the New Zealand family. Now, I just recently, a couple of weeks ago, I did a little bit of just a little bit of backyard studying a bit, and do you know what? The best place to be a successful Māori is Australia, not New Zealand. And I'm just trying to think off the top of my head, but I think it ended up being that the average was they had more two-parent families in marriages, and I think it was $23,000 more on average for New Zealand dollars between Australia and us. And you can say whatever you want about, oh, they got a bigger economy, better jobs, blah, 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 blah. But at the end of the day, the outcome is that if you're Māori, you're statistically better off if you're in Australia that has no treaty of Waitangi, that treats New Zealanders quite harshly, and they don't have any element of Māori race-based elements. So if I go over there, I don't get the little perks and the privileges that I do get here as someone who has Māori blood. So I just don't know why New Zealanders keep putting up with it. So we'll see. We'll see. I mean, Clara here, she said, oh, sorry, you go for it.
No, I was just going to say, we've put up with a lot for so long that we just continue to, at what point, where is our breaking point? Where is it? We found it during, when we went down to Parliament. That was a breaking point for a lot of people because it affected a lot of people. What we are fighting right now is the effect of our children and our children's children. That is why we're not so concerned about it, is because it's not affecting us immediately. And that's a huge issue for me. Yeah.
Yep, well said. Clara here, she's saying that my dad reckons I have Jewish blood too. Yep, fair enough, Clara. In fact, I believe Willie Jackson, the Labour Party MP, most of his blood is Ashkenazi Jew. That's the majority of his blood. So I watched that article when he does DNA check, which was cool. It's fine, it's no problem. But no, the majority of blood is not Māori. It is Ashkenazi Jew. And it's not a bad thing or a good thing. It's just a thing. All right. Fibonacci's come back. Yes, suspect a few students failed due to the confusion. So I have been speaking to someone who I know who has been in university very, very recently, as a couple of years, and really interesting to hear her take on what she believed the treaty was about, and how Māori have been treated badly by British people. That's what she believes. She believes that because of the lecturer and what they've been telling her. So I have been helping her out with some more factual information because, of course, we've got documents to prove that the lecturers are, if they're not, perhaps I shouldn't say lying, but rather putting on their own uneducated spin on it. So maybe that's a better way of putting it as well. Oh, sorry, I was just putting that out there. Anyway, one thing that I did want to also let you know was that in terms of this came up. This is from Kylie Quince. Kylie Quince is the law professor or the associate law professor from Auckland University of Technology or AUT. Right, and she's very strong. She's also someone who's known as a bit of a race hustler. More than happy to say, oh, they're white man bad. And here she is. You've got, I believe that name, that is Parmjeet Palmer, I think her name is. She's the ACT MP. She launched a bill to stop universities pushing that race-based services on them, which is, I think it's a good bill. And what does Kylie Quince do? A very strong activist, very far left activist. Alternate headline: immigrant forget where she lives. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So even in university, what I would regard as racist behaviour just coming out all over the place. It reminds me of Leo. I don't know if you remember the University of Auckland when they had that sign up saying Maori and Pacific students only. Do you remember that one?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That was racism. Uh, I don't care what. I don't care what AU was thinking. I don't care. The outcome was racism, segregation, Maori Pacific students only. No, I want my Pacifica, Maori, Chinese, Indian, Palangi, whatever, mixed together. Just you don't need to have these weird pushings of quota systems and segregational systems, and this is only going to be for brown people, and this is only going to be for black people. It's extraordinary to me that the tertiary education sectors fail to see the inherent racism that they have been engaging in.
Yeah. We've got a few more
I want to put out.
comments.
This is Stephen Smith. Who cares if it is a left or right issue? So this is Stephen. I suspect he's going back to the Benjamin Boyd. And again, we want to reiterate, there has been no charges proven. We are not saying that he's guilty. What we're saying is that there's a lot of smoke, and there needs to be more cause for an investigation because he is a public servant paid by the taxpayer of New Zealand, and we have a right to ask questions. If my social media account looked like that, if Liao's looked like that, and we were in Parliament, but more accurately, if Christopher Luxton or Sam Uffindell or Sabrina Brown or Willie Jackson, these people who are members of Parliament funded by the taxpayer of New Zealand, it is right to ask questions. And what we're calling out is the questions that have not been asked by mainstream media, by the party leaders, and even by the political left. They are not asking those questions at all, and it's utterly shocking. So, Stephen, who cares if it's a left or right issue? Pedophilia doesn't matter what your political preference is. Absolutely. If you are a kidney fiddler, then prison is the only place for you. Absolutely right, Stephen. However, the LGBTQRs plus seem to be trying to normalise men being attracted to young people and children. Fair. What do you think, Liao?
Sorry. What else is there to say? We've come to this, this year. This is something that we need to face as a country to actually deal. Like, what can you do in your space? What is it that you can do to make these changes? Because we will continue going down this line because obviously our media are against us. The justice system is against us. Even having, there's so many factors that have come in, that we are facing. And I think it's all about dividing us. I have some amazing Māori friends, and I love them, and I love their boldness to speak. I love everything about them, but this division is just becoming. If you have an opinion about something, we used to be still friends, and it was okay to have an opinion. We can't even have that anymore. What has happened to us? Why have we become so fickle and so what's the word, shallow in our friendships? What has happened? Yeah.
Good question. Yeah, very good question. Very good question. Probably one last part before we'll leave that section, and maybe even as we come to a close. Because the thing is, I've actually been, in the last few weeks, been calling out the Māori Party, and I've been calling them out and saying, hey, let's have a debate on these issues around colonisation, around the areas of social statistics and Māori, but none of them will respond. They are all quite scared of getting to engage with a debate of just a simple youth worker like myself. They're too afraid to debate, and I've called them out multiple times. I have to give props to people like Joe Trinder, Joe Trinder and myself, we did engage in a debate. That was a really good debate, I felt. We were able to respectfully put our positions out there. But the Māori Party, they're not answering. So now I'm going to go to the universities to see if any of them will speak out. And again, I'm nothing great. There are no letters behind my name, no letters in front of my name. I'm just a youth worker from South Auckland. That's all I am. And I love who I am. So more than happy to debate Māori Party, but they're a bit afraid. Not a problem. That's okay. I respect that. So now I'm going to go to university and see if we can have a chat. So just for everyone out there, keep that in mind, and on the Daily Examiner, we're going to make sure that we have a good kōrero, good chat, good discussion. I think that could be really, really excellent. Clara, thank you. Hey, sick of the racism. Absolutely. Yeah. Emma Jones here makes you wonder what else they cover and brush under the carpet. Emma, you're absolutely right. There are. And I think COVID, or not COVID, but the lockdowns, the government reactions to COVID showed us that actually they weren't engaging in friendly ideas. They weren't engaging in democracy. They were bypassing things, not telling us other things. The mainstream media were found to be absolutely complicit in suppression of voices and for a saturation of disinformation against the people. So, it's extraordinary. Fibonacci, fair enough, Fibonacci. Absolutely right. It's probably a case of following the money, and that's very common, actually. We've seen that, and in actual fact, and again, we need to be wary. So we just wait and see what happens with the John Tamahere case and what's going on there with the Māori Party and all the money. The money to a marae scandal showed us quite an extraordinary one. Oh, sorry, off on an offshoot. Honestly, I'm thinking about the Greens. And you'd be forgiven for thinking, can't we go back to shoplifting and bullying and fraud rather than what we're dealing with now? Maybe that's what's going on in the Greens camp right now, is that they're going, can we please just have normal bullies and shoplifters and frauds from social welfare years ago? The level of depravity that we're seeing is extraordinary, I think. Charmaine, many will be offended, will betray one another, and will hate one another. Yeah, that's fair. That's really good there, Charmaine. Absolutely fair. So, look, we've been going on for quite a while there, Liao. It's been awesome. So I think it's probably a good time. Look, we've gone far later than we usually like to. We like to keep these things to be an hour, but yourselves, and we thought that this was a really important thing to bring up and discuss. We didn't even get to some of our topics, but we'll make sure that we get to them next time. All right, and it's just been really great to have you here. Liao, would you like to finish us off, close us off a little bit there?
As in...
So, is there any last thoughts that you might have or anything like that?
I think one of the things that we have forgotten or left behind is things like empathy, is things like friendship, things like love, things that actually make this world go round. We have been so caught up in all of this division that we have forgotten the very basics of who we are as humans. And it grieves my heart that we have to, always come up against each other in the way that we think. Our opinions are our own. We state them because we have an opportunity and we have a platform to do it. You may not agree, and so be it. This is what it is to be human, but things like compassion and empathy, we don't even have empathy anymore in our schools. We don't learn it. So, what do we need to go back to? Go back to the basics, even common sense. Guys, we've got it looks like it's going to be a pretty hard year, and maybe even next year and the years to come, but just these kind of things that we can have for each other, I think is far outweighs all of the hatred and racism that has come from everywhere. Who do we have that we can actually show this to? Yeah, that's all.
Yeah, well said, well said. For myself, I would say just to everyone out there, kia kaha, kia koutou, stay strong, everyone, and, be with each other. Make sure that you keep up your chatter, your talk. Nothing's wrong with keeping up the talk. It's really healthy, and it's also with those who disagree with you, who disagree with us, which is why I would thanks to Kushla, who was that person out there, and even Dina, please don't need to threaten people, right? Have the strong chat, have the strong discussion, the tala no sao, we like to say. You don't need to engage in threats. Just disagree and have strong disagreements, have good arguments to come to it, and even have bad arguments, all right? But so at the end of the day, we can make things better for all of us, no matter which side of the aisle you're on, no matter what you believe or don't believe, all right? So I think it's really important to keep up the chatter. Thank you so much for everyone who's been listening in. We're going to make sure that we're going to be back next week. God bless you. God bless New Zealand, all right? And God bless you, every single one of your families. Ka kite.